Hey y'all, this is Sascha Barros.
This situation has just taken a major turn. A letter has now surfaced from Lisa Noelle, and it's not a minor update. It fundamentally shifts how the story is being understood. If you've been following the Sascha Riley situation, you've likely seen the interviews, the posts, and the growing attention around it. But this letter adds a new layer and raises questions that weren't being asked before. Rather than speculating, what we're going to do here is walk through what's been said publicly and how it connects to what's already been covered. Before we break this down, if you want the full context behind the story as it develops, make sure you're subscribed, because this didn't start where most people think it did, and it's still evolving. If we go back to early March, around March 10th, Lisa Noelle Voldeng reportedly sent a letter stating she was no longer supporting Sascha Barros. At the time, that appeared to mark the beginning of the public split, but now we have much more detailed explanation of why that decision was made, at least from Lisa Noelle's perspective. Lisa Noelle Voldeng has now released a formal statement outlining her reasons for ending advocacy support. In that statement, she alleges issues around how Sascha shared information, including concerns about safety of other survivors, and whether Sascha fully disclosed all information, disagreements over how the story was being shared publicly, and what she characterizes as escalating tensions. She also raises questions about Sascha's background and personal events and details she alleges he kept from her, adding a competing narrative to the story as it continues to unfold. This is where things intersect directly with the podcast situation we covered earlier. In this statement, it is claimed that individuals described as malicious actors may have played a role in disrupting the scheduled podcast appearance, including allegations of interference with the host, followed by a separate TikTok live shortly after. At the same time, this isn't just unfolding between Sascha and Lisa Noelle, it is also playing out across a wider network of creators who have been following the story closely. From my own perspective, I've been familiar with several of the TikTok hosts covering this, but had no prior knowledge of any direct connection between them and the podcast itself. Since then, I've reached out for clarification. One creator, Troy Burrill of The Fallout with TBS, confirmed he had been supportive of Doorman's 1776 podcast. Another creator, Savage Siren, raised a different perspective, questioning the lack of publicly available evidence and calling for clearer verification of key claims, while also pointing to inconsistencies they see in the broader narrative. And that's important because it shows this isn't a one-sided conversation. It's a developing story being interpreted, challenged, and debated, not just by those directly involved, but by the wider audience following it in real time. So at this stage, this sits as an allegation within the statement, one that may generate further discussion, but has not been independently verified. What's notable here is not just the individual claims, but the way the narrative is unfolding across multiple platforms in real time. That's especially true now. We're seeing statements, responses, third-party commentary, and platform activity all interacting at once, sometimes reinforcing each other and sometimes directly conflicting. At this point, the situation appears to be ongoing, with new posts, responses, and developments still emerging. The release of this statement doesn't resolve the situation. It adds another perspective to an already complex and evolving story. If you've been following this story, you already know it's been unfolding in real time. I've mapped the full timeline from before the Substack recordings to where things stand now. If you want the complete context, check out the Sascha Riley playlist linked below. Rather than drawing conclusions, the goal of this video is to map out the publicly available information and provide context around how the situation has developed over time. I've linked the full statement in the comments if you want to read it directly and form your own view. If you want more breakdowns like this, you know what to do, because in stories like this, the next chapter is usually the most important one.